Jared and Jacob join us again this morning from Marble City Pharmacy on Help Monday. And gentlemen, good morning to you. And I do not have any remedies for the possibility of college football being out this fall. I can't help you with that.
We're going to have to invent a miracle drug fast to cure the depression from no football.
I don't know if it'll be on the shelf, though.
Yeah, we don't have drugs powerful enough to fix me if there's no football this year.
Hey, talking today about something that is very, very important and affects a lot of people, and that is heart attack. Now, as we open this segment, the older I get, you'll feel a little, chest pain. You'll feel a little something. You say, "Wow, I've never felt that before." And the first thing you think of is it a heart attack? This is a very serious topic this morning.
Oh, sure. It's very serious. Not all chest pain is due to a heart attack. Sometimes you have chest pain that...
I'm living proof of that.
Yeah, good to know.
Well, we hope, right? Not all chest pain, of course, is a heart attack. You can have issues with the blood vessels in your heart where there's some amount of blockage in them, causing chest pain as the blood flows through there. But heart attack, of course, is a much more serious deal. So I guess we need to differentiate and tell exactly what a heart attack is. You guys know that the heart is a muscle, right? You guys know that the heart's function is to pump oxygenated blood to the vital organs in your body. A heart attack happens when blood going to the heart doesn't get there for some reason, and it causes damage to a specific part of the heart. We'll talk some more about that, but just for purposes of understanding what a heart attack is, it's a lack of blood flow to a specific part of the heart that causes damage to that part of the heart muscle.
Jacob?
I agree. I get, what people always ask then is, what causes this? And so what you get at that point is most commonly, it's coronary artery disease. And, here we go. Ready? Get ready for this
I'm ready.
Atherosclerosis. Got it?
How long did it take you to practice getting that word right?
Let me tell you something.
Right. You did pronounce it right, didn't you?
You just assumed it was right. So what we got there is hardening and narrowing of the arteries that lead to the heart, the coronary arteries, so coronary artery disease, caused by fatty buildups or plaques, mostly cholesterol, let's be honest. It's mostly cholesterol buildups in the arteries that lead to our heart. They narrow those arteries so we get less blood flow. It's already skinnier than it should be, and then one of those fatty buildups ruptures, and our body tries to fix itself and forms a blood clot right there. It starts to clot where there's a broken spot, right? It's just what it does. And so we get a blood clot forming in an area that's already too narrow, and now we've blocked blood flow. And so we have that lack of blood flow that is a heart attack. So it's fatty buildups in the heart and weakening of those arteries from those fatty buildups.
Does that come with age?
Oh, it can come with age. Here's the thing. It can come with age if there's long-term, for example, high blood pressure. If a person has blood pressure over years and years and decades, it causes damage, as Jake said, to the arteries that feed the heart. And as those arteries are damaged, if they can't get the blood to the heart as they're supposed to, then that's when a heart attack occurs. So in that sense, it can occur with age. And of course, as we age, our cholesterol sometimes gets higher and higher, gets out of control. If we don't eat right, if we don't take care of ourselves as far as exercise goes. So we'll talk some more about that in a minute.
Hardly any of us eat right.
Listen, I'm living proof of that, sure.
Yeah, we're not hypocrites here. We admit it. We don't eat wrong. We do the best we can, but it's not perfect.
Some of the signs of a possible heart attack.
Well, the first one is everybody knows. It's tightness, pain, in the chest. Right here, it hurts. It's tight. It's screaming sometimes. It's pressure right here, and everybody knows that one. Other ones that most people know but are very common with it. Pain in other parts of the body, one or both arms, your neck, your jaw, your head, your stomach, your abdomen. That pain radiates, that tightness radiates out. So you get, more often than not, pain in a variety of places and tightness or pressure in a variety of places. Of course, there's shortness of breath that comes with this often. So that's one of the telltale signs sometimes. This is a heart problem or an indigestion problem or something. A lot of times shortness of breath is one of your better indicators. Other signs, cold sweats, fatigue, dizziness, those things can all come with a heart attack. And so you may or may not have any one of those symptoms. You may have these over here and not these, but you'll have some conglomeration of those symptoms.
Jared, I thought it was acid indigestion. I thought it was just heartburn.
Man,
How many times you heard that?
You read my mind on that. I appreciate you saying that. And this is one of the take-home points that we want to make today, I think, and that is there are some similarities between a person what you experience with indigestion, the feeling that you get, and what's potentially a heart attack. And so that's a difficult thing for somebody to differentiate. So maybe we could give the message like this. If you are a person who has been diagnosed with acid reflux, I have, for example, right? Jacob has, I think it's very common, of course, but it's in our family for sure. If you're a person who's been diagnosed with acid reflux and you've had this symptom of indigestion with the reflux coming back up into your esophagus and causing the burning, if you've had that over and over and over and you experience the same thing today or tomorrow, then you can be confident that's what it is. But if you've never been diagnosed with acid reflux, if you have acid reflux but have a different type of sensation than what you normally experience with indigestion, you don't need to take any chances. I think that's very important. And we'll talk just a minute about what you should do when you're experiencing those signs, but you should not ignore those things. So yes, indigestion can be very similar. We have to be careful though not to ignore it, because the last thing we want to do is have a patient who's having a heart attack who writes it off to indigestion and doesn't get the treatment that they need.
What should I do if I have these particular situations and signs of possible heart attack? What do I do?
The most easy and obvious answer of any question we're ever going to get here, but people fail this test repeatedly, and that is call 911. What we hear a lot is, I can get to the hospital as fast as the ambulance can. One, I don't want you driving because your symptoms will get worse suddenly and you'll kill yourself and someone else. Two, while the ambulance is driving you to the hospital, the EMS people are working on you and treating you as quick as possible for what's wrong. So during that 30-minute drive or more, wherever you're going to the hospital, you're being treated. And so, call 911. Let the ambulance come. Let EMS look at you. Let them start treating you immediately. Don't drive yourself. And if possible, don't even get your spouse, neighbor, friend to drive you. Get the ambulance out so that treatment can get started as soon as possible.
And Jared, we don't want to upset our family. You got your family with you, and you're going to be the strong guy, and it's just some Mexican food I had for dinner or something like that.
This is not the place to be stubborn. I'm
Don't
not,
be a hero.
Yeah.
Well,
Good point.
This is probably more common in men, but a lot of times I'm okay as our standard reaction to everything. But this is not the place for stubbornness. This is not the place for putting that off. This is the place to actually take action and call 911. What's the worst thing that could happen? It's not a heart attack and you wasted some time, right? Obviously, there'll be some money involved in that, but that's the worst that can happen, right? The best that can happen is that you get the early treatment and avoid a lifelong problem.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What about long-term consequences of this?
Because, we've talked about what it is and what causes it. That, as he's mentioned, causes damage to specific parts of the heart depending on where the blockage was. So that part of that muscle is very often long-term damaged, especially the longer we wait to get treatment, the worse it is. That long-term damage causes the heart to work harder to try to compensate. So, you get damage at age 55, you have a heart attack. For the rest of your life, your heart, every minute of every day, is working harder. That muscle is trying to compensate. It starts to weaken, it starts to enlarge. Eventually, what we see is congestive heart failure. And we've talked about that on this show before. That is a very common endpoint for damage to the heart from earlier in life, heart attack or heart attacks. And so that's the long term, is we're worried about the damage to that heart muscle and it weakening, growing, enlarging, and you having congestion in your body and heart failure.
So I'm experiencing these symptoms not just every once in a while, but they're becoming more and more a part of my day. How serious could this be?
Well, it can be real serious. I think that's a good question. when you're experiencing these symptoms on a regular basis, it's probably not multiple heart attacks after heart attacks after heart attacks. If you're experiencing this every day, you're probably more likely to have a condition called angina. You might pronounce it angina if you're Jacob, but that is chest pain, as I said earlier, associated with difficulty of the blood vessels, blockage in the blood vessels, lack of total blood flow to the heart. So it's not as in a heart attack where the damage has occurred where there's no blood flow. It's reduced blood flow to the heart. And if you're experiencing that every single day, then there are medications that are designed to open up those blood vessels to increase blood flow to the heart. So you may not have a heart attack in that situation. You may be able to treat that simply with the medicines that open up the blood vessels.
I've seen instances of and read stories of people who having stroke. And this is not what we're talking about this morning, but the importance of getting help in a hurry is very, very key here.
In those two instances, heart attack and stroke, which, let's be honest, you're sitting out there, that's probably two of your greatest medical fears, heart attack and stroke. There are other things that happen to us, but they're not the ones in the forefront of our mind. Heart attack and stroke are on that list. And in both of those instances, the only key that I need people to know is act immediately. If you get nothing else out of anything we've said ever, if you think it's a heart attack or stroke, acting immediately is what I need you to take home. And if nothing else, I can live with that. Act immediately, call 911 in both of those instances. Let it get started.
What about the treatments?
Yeah, there are, not to get too complicated with this, but there are lots and lots and lots of medications that you could potentially be put on after you have a heart attack. Just to tell you what they do, some of the medications are designed to reduce the workload on the heart, right? They may slow down the heart rate, they may dilate the blood vessels, whatever they do to reduce the workload. So that's number one. We got to reduce the workload on the heart, give some ease, that's not the right word. Lessen the work on the muscle. Number two is there are medications that are designed to repair the damaged part of the heart, right? So you're going to get some combination of medicines that reduce the workload, attempt to repair the damaged part of the muscle, and then you're going to get medications to treat the underlying cause. So as Jacob has mentioned, the two biggies, of course, are high blood pressure and high cholesterol. So you may end up with 2, 3, 4, 5 new medications after a heart attack, but they're all designed to do different things to help repair your heart and also to prevent you from having another one in the future.
I live out near a golf course, and several years ago, I walked a lot, and I'd walk that golf course twice a day. And I kind of got out of that. Well, I didn't kind of get out of it. I'm totally out of it.
Let's be honest.
I just ride by the golf course now.
That's good. Grass is nice.
I know I don't know enough about heart situations to be a professional, but I knew then that I was doing some good by walking. And so we bring this to this point. How do we prevent heart attacks?
Well, keep in mind then, okay, so the heart is a muscle. If I want this muscle to get bigger, and I should because it's pitiful, I exercise it, right? If I want my heart muscle to be in better shape, I exercise it. I walk. I do whatever cardiovascular exercise, aerobic exercise I can get my hands and feet on to strengthen my heart muscle. So I exercise. I try to keep my weight off. I try to...
Why does he look at me every time he brings up that
He does,
weight?
every single time.
It was either look at you or the camera and insult them or insult you. I chose you.
The camera's in good shape.
Yeah, I chose you. It's preventing things that make a heart attack more likely. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, believe it or not, diabetes. If you have diabetes, you're more likely to have a heart attack for any number of reasons. And so smoking, don't smoke. All these things over years and years are what get us to a heart attack. So let's exercise, let's eat right, let's go to the doctor on a regular basis, check for blood pressure, cholesterol issues, diabetes issues, don't smoke. You do those things, you're going to have a good chance of preventing this.
Jared?
Well, it's never too late. Maybe we just leave you with this. It's never too late to start these processes of taking care of your heart. And you may think that, well, I've got to walk the golf course 2 times a day, or I've got to go do a regimented weightlifting, or I've got to join the Zumba class, or what things that sound like a mountain that's too difficult for you to climb. Don't worry about that. If you're doing nothing now, doing anything is an improvement, right? And if you're doing nothing, doing anything will cause your heart to pump harder and pump faster, and that's what strengthens it, just like Jacob said. So any increase in activity for you is going to be helpful.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Appreciate both of you being here this morning. We talked about heart attacks. This one I heard a long time ago in a study of this heart doctor, heart surgeon. He said, your heart has only so many beats. Make sure that you get as many beats as you possibly can. Now, it's kind of simple, but hey, the heart, you're not going to make it without the heart.
No.
Turns out you got to have
Turns
one.
out it's kind of important.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being here this morning.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, we got more day break just ahead on this Monday morning.